Welcome to the Holistic Path podcast, where we explore mindful living, conscious choices, and the deeper connection between body, mind, and spirit. I am your host, and I am so glad you are here. Let us take a gentle step forward together.
Welcome back to the Deep Dive. So you're here because you want a quick fix, right? A reliable way, maybe even a shortcut to stop anxiety dead in its tracks.
Mm-hmm.
If you know that feeling, that sort of rising panic, and you just need something now to reset, well, this deep dive is basically for you. We're aiming to give you something really potent.
Yeah, and today we're zeroing in on the 5-4-3-2-1 grounding technique. The material we've looked at really frames this as, more than just mindfulness. It's described as this clever science-backed method
Okay.
designed to kind of override your nervous system when it's freaking out.
Yeah.
And the key benefit everyone talks about is speed. Like, apparently it can calm that wave of anxiety down, sometimes in less than a minute.
Wow, less than a minute. That's the hook, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
speed. So we pulled together sources covering basically what it is, the science bit, why it actually works on your body.
Right, the physiology.
Exactly. And crucially, a step-by-step guide you can actually remember when you're stressed, plus some important tips like when to use it and mistakes people often make.
Yeah, the pitfalls. Our goal here is pretty simple.
Yeah.
Hand you everything you need, all boiled down, so you're like totally ready next time things get overwhelming.
Okay, so let's get into it. This 5-4-3-2-1 thing. Grounding.
Mm.
What is it fundamentally? Is it just, I don't know, fancy deep breathing
Yeah.
or something else?
Oh, it's definitely different, though. Deep breathing can help alongside it. The 5-4-3-2-1 method is really about a cognitive shift, a deliberate one.
Okay.
See, when anxiety or panic hits, your focus tends to just collapse inwards, right? You get stuck on the physical feelings, racing thoughts, maybe picturing the worst.
Totally.
This technique, its whole point is to be like a powerful anchor to the outside world. It basically grabs your attention back from that internal worry loop and forces it onto what's actually tangibly around you right now. And the science part, the why it's supposed to work so fast, under 60 seconds, that's pretty cool. It really comes down to the nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system, your fight or flight mode.
Yeah, the accelerator.
Exactly. When anxiety spikes, that system goes into overdrive. It floods your brain with stress hormones, and the amygdala, your brain's sort of emotional alarm system, takes charge.
Right. It's like the fire alarm's blaring and nobody can think straight anymore. Rational thought just checks out.
That's a great way to put it. And the genius of grounding techniques like this is how they force a kind of cognitive override. Even if you feel panicked physically, by making yourself systematically notice and label specific kind of mundane external details. Like,
Wow.
okay, the exact green of that plant or the feel of your sleeve versus the table, you're deliberately kicking your frontal lobe into gear.
Okay, hang on. So the problem feels physical, right? Like those stress chemicals.
Yeah.
Why does just looking at a dusty lampshade fix that? Isn't that just distracting yourself?
Ah, see, that's the key difference. It's not just distraction. It's more like retasking. Distraction can be fleeting, but this is structural almost. Your frontal lobe does the logical stuff, right? Planning, organizing.
Yeah, executive function.
So when you give it a very specific, non-threatening job, okay, brain, find 5 blue things and tell me what they are, that structured thinking demands cognitive resources. It actually pulls energy away from the emotional centers, like the amygdala.
Huh. And the act of closely observing something sends this really strong signal back. Hey, if I'm calm enough to notice the texture of this chair right now, I can't actually be in mortal danger. That signal of safety, sent via deliberate thought, helps start the shift back towards the parasympathetic state, the rest and digest mode. It slows the whole system down.
Wow, okay. It sounds really deliberate. Almost like giving your brain homework to hack the fear system. For you listening, maybe think about it like this. When you've got a huge, overwhelming project, what's the first advice?
Break it down.
Break it down. Exactly. So here, you're breaking down that massive feeling of panic into, like, 5 tiny, doable sensory jobs right now. Okay, this is where it gets really practical. The how-to. How do you actually do this list properly, especially when you're feeling that pressure build, the panic rising? Can you walk us through the steps, make sure we get the details right? Absolutely. And the numbers themselves, the 5-4-3-2-1, they provide the structure. It's this descending order that kind of forces you to follow through, which helps with the anchoring effect. So you start with 5. You need to name and really look at 5 things you can see around you. And the key here, the sources really stress this, is specificity. Don't just say chair, desk, window.
Right.
No, notice the details. Like, okay, there's a tiny scuff mark on the floor, or the way the light is hitting that picture frame, maybe a cobweb up in the corner I didn't see before, or the specific font on that book spine.
That detail thing, that takes real mental effort, doesn't it? Which goes back to engaging that frontal lobe you mentioned. But what if it's dark? Or maybe my eyes are closed because I'm trying to breathe through it.
Yeah.
How do you do the seeing part then?
That's a really good question, actually. A common stumbling block. If you can't literally see much, you shift the focus to mental categorization. So you might name 5 things you remember seeing just moments before.
Wow.
Or you could name 5 types of visual things, even if you can't see them clearly. Like, okay, find something round, something wooden, something bright, something far, something close. It's the act of sorting and labeling in your mind that does the work, not just passively looking. Okay, next up is 4. Name 4 things you can touch or feel right now. This one really snaps you into your physical body, often the quickest way to pull focus outward. You might need to actively, move a bit. Feel the pressure of the chair beneath you. Maybe reach out and touch the cool surface of a mug. Notice the texture of your jeans, or even just the air from a vent on your skin.
Yeah, the touch thing feels really grounding. Literally, it confirms, like, okay, I'm actually here in this spot, solid.
Exactly. Then we move down to 3. Name 3 things you can hear. Now this can be tricky sometimes, especially if you're somewhere quiet. You have to really listen. Try to catch sounds you normally tune out, like background noise.
Yeah, don't just go for the loudest thing. Is the fridge humming? Can you hear traffic way off? Maybe the click of your keyboard or the heating system. Subtle sounds. Okay, I have a question here. Based on other anxiety advice, people often say focus on your breathing sound to calm down. But sometimes when I'm anxious, focusing on my breathing makes me more aware of how shallow it is, and it almost makes it worse.
That is such an important point. Yeah. With the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, for the 3 sounds part, the idea is to focus overwhelmingly on external sounds.
Gotcha.
The goal is grounding in the environment, not immediately trying to fix your breathing, although that might follow. If listening to your own body sounds like your breath or heartbeat makes you feel more inward and anxious, definitely pivot straight back to outside wises. Objective reality, not subjective feelings. All right, moving quickly now, we get to 2. Name 2 things you can smell.
This sense is really strongly linked to memory, right? So it can be quite powerful. You might need to pause and consciously try to smell.
What if there's nothing obvious?
Yeah, if the room's pretty neutral, lean closer to your sleeve, maybe catch a whiff of detergent, or is there a faint scent of coffee lingering? Old books, even just the clean air. Smell is primal. It roots you right in that specific moment. And finally, number 1.
Name 1 thing you can taste. This just requires you to notice what's going on in your mouth. Maybe there's nothing in there. So you focus on the faint aftertaste of toothpaste, or maybe just the feeling of your tongue, or is your mouth dry? Just noticing that one sensation. Completing this step means you've systematically used all 5 senses to pull your awareness back to right here, right now. So knowing the steps is one thing, but knowing when to actually use it, that's crucial for making it work well. The advice is pretty clear. Don't wait until you're deep in a full panic attack.
Right.
It works best as an early intervention tool. The moment you feel that first little flicker of anxiety, maybe your heart speeds up a bit, or that first intrusive worry pops in, that's when you jump in with the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
So nip it in the bud.
Yeah.
Use it before the engine really starts revving too high. Okay. And our sources also had some really useful warnings, didn't they? Common mistakes.
Yeah.
If someone listening tries this, what traps should they watch out for?
Yeah, definitely. The biggest one seems to be what you might call phoning it in or half committing, like rushing through the list. Okay, see, wall, floor, light, while your mind is still racing with worries.
Not really engaging.
Exactly. You haven't actually done the cognitive task. You haven't forced the frontal lobe to work. You absolutely have to focus on the details, the specific color, the texture for that mental override to actually kick in.
Yeah, that makes sense. And another major pitfall is misunderstanding the goal. A lot of people think the aim is to make the anxiety vanish completely, like instantly.
And that sets you up for failure, right?
Totally. It
Okay.
creates pressure. If you start listing things you see, but you're simultaneously judging yourself, like, why am I still anxious? This isn't working fast enough. You're just layering more anxiety on top. So, okay, instead of fighting the feeling, you just do the technique anyway. You notice the anxiety is there,
Yeah.
but you make the external task the priority.
Precisely. Think of it as emotional first aid, not a cure-all therapy session in 60 seconds. It's about getting your system back under control enough to think clearly again.
Okay.
It creates breathing room, gets you back in the driver's seat mentally, so then you can figure out your next step calmly instead of just reacting out of pure fear. Trying to force total calm just backfires. You kind of have to accept the discomfort is there, but still commit fully to observing your senses. And if you think about the big picture, why this specific 5-4-3-2-1 structure works, well, anxiety loves the vague, the what-ifs, the unknowns, right? By forcing your brain onto 5, then 4, then 3, concrete, verifiable, real facts about your immediate surroundings, you're basically flooding your system with reality. And that dose of reality is kind of the antidote to the abstract fear.
So this deep dive has basically given you a tool. It's simple, it's fast, it uses your own senses, and is backed by some pretty solid science. Something you can use literally anywhere, anytime, and nobody even needs to know you're doing it.
Its real strength is just how accessible it is and how quickly it seems to bring that rational part of your brain back online. So here's the challenge. Try it. Don't just file this away for an emergency. Try the 5-4-3-2-1 technique maybe right now as you're listening, or, next time you're just waiting for the kettle to boil or stuck in traffic.
Practice when the stakes are low.
Exactly. Practicing it when you're calm builds that mental muscle memory, makes the pathway stronger. So when you do feel that anxiety spike, the technique feels more automatic, much easier to use effectively. It becomes reliable.
Okay, so what's the big takeaway here? If you can potentially shift your entire nervous system state, find a bit of calm in under a minute, just by deliberately focusing your senses in this structured way. Well, what other things in your life feel huge and scary right now? Could they maybe be tackled not by some grand plan, but just by breaking them down into 5 or 4 or 3 tiny immediate sensory things you can engage with right here, right now? Something to think about. Practice it today.
Yeah, give it a shot.
We'll catch you next time on The Deep Dive.
Thank you for joining me on the Holistic Path. If this video helped you on your journey of body, soul, and purpose, please subscribe and hit the notification bell for weekly wellness wisdom. Check out these videos next to continue your transformation. Until next time, stay holistic.